Are goals important to you, Santiago? Is it something you put any effort or energy into?
Yes. Yeah, I think goals are super important for everything. You know, you need to have personal goals, you need to have business goals, you need to have all sorts of different goals. Because if you don't have goals, the way I always say is like, if you jump in an Uber, okay, and you don't know where you're going, that'll be really expensive and it will be a lot of waste of time, right? Same thing with goals. It's like if you don't know where you're going, then you probably will spend a lot of time, will spend a lot of money, and waste a lot of time and get nowhere, right? So yes, goals are very, very important in my life in all levels.
And when did you first think about setting goals? Is it something you did early on in your life, something you've done recently? When did goals become important to you?
I think goals became important to me when I was in college, you know, because you have a year and you need to, you know, pass all your classes that year. So, you know, that's a goal. You know, it's like making sure that you pass all your classes, get the best grades you can. That's a good goal. And then you go on vacation and celebrate and go and have fun, you know. I think it started there. So I started to understand the concept of study hard and then you're going to party hard in vacation, right? And then I just, as I grow and I start doing business and working in places, you know, obviously the goals start to monetizing, you know, starts to become like, okay, how much money do I need to make this year to have the lifestyle I want to have or to provide to my family? So, and as the years go on, you just keep, you know, improving the goals and improving the goals. And the great thing about goals and setting goals is like you have a direction, and when you get there, there is a satisfaction that I think goes in the brain, and your brain tells you that you can do that. So the next year when you set a higher goal, then you're just pushing yourself and you're growing and you're growing and you're growing. And that's what I've been doing for over 12 years, 13 years, and it's worked well.
January 1st, December 31st. They're both great days. They just happen to be in different years, you know.
I think you're being a little humble. I think that as someone like you that has a business going, that's been doing this for so long, yes, small shifts is good. But I actually am a believer that if your shed's not working, you need a massive plan of action. You need to shake things up, because if you don't, then, see, people all the time say, okay, it's 2018, it's going to be amazing, it's going to be a new year, and they wait for like 11:59 on the last day of December of 2017, and they said, as soon as the clock changes, this year is going to be amazing. Really? What, like a magic? I mean, what are you doing about it? It's like, if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a plan of action of what exactly is what you're going to do, how many doors you're going to knock, I mean, literally like a detailed plan of what you're going to do, where you want to be, personally also, do I want to lose weight, do I want to gain weight, do I want to, whatever it is that, you know, you want to do, if you don't know, you don't have a plan, magically just because the digits change is not going to happen, okay? So if you keep doing the same thing, expect the same result. So that's why I'm saying that the more you shake it, the more you want to change things, the more you want to become something different, then that's how it's going to go to the next year, and you'll see different results for sure, guaranteed.
So talk about your 2017 goals. What were your goals for this year?
Business-wise, my goal was to get to 500 million.
I have to go now?
Personal, you know, I have goals where, you know, I want to travel with my family. I want to travel with my wife alone specifically. I want to read this many amount of books. I want to exercise, and I want to maintain myself on a certain way with certain body fat. Those are the kind of goals that I set.
Okay. Talk about the goal of 500 million. How did you arrive at that goal, and do you stay connected to your goals daily, weekly? How do you keep the goal alive in front of you?
All right, so in my office, for those that have been there, I have a big board where I put exactly, you know, I put my listings in there, I put my clients, I put what properties I have in escrow, and I put properties that I'm working on getting the listings. And then I have a number, I put in the top what my goal is going to be, which was $500,000, and then I start, I have by month of what the closings are, and then I have a total on what it's getting. So it becomes very visual, so I look at it every day, I know where I am, I know where I need to be, so that keeps me on track of how I need to be. But then, you got to understand that for me also, I have other goals. You know, Mauricio's here right now, and We work on growing the company too. So I have goals of, growing the agency, getting the agency in different marketplaces, which is something that actually we're going to be doing a little bit more intensive next year. So we're planning to go in different places. So that's also goals that I set.
500 million is a big goal.
Yeah, it is.
Is it hard to hold a goal like that? Because when you start at the beginning of the year, you're at zero, right? That's a pretty big gap between zero and 500 million.
So 2016, I had the same goal. And I knew towards September, and I know we had a meeting, that it was going to be a little bit tough to get to the 500 million. So I asked you, should I adjust my goal? And you scream at me, no! I was like, shit. And ever since Steve pissed. So I was like, okay, but there's not like a confusion that, you have your goal and you're not going to get there or whatever. He's like, listen, that's your goal, and if you don't get now, you're going to get next year. So last year, I was farther than where I am now, so I just kept the same goal. You see, I didn't go to 600, but I didn't go to 400 either. I kept that goal, and I want to get to that goal, and when I get to that goal, then my goal maybe will go to 600 or 700. And it's worked well, this year has definitely been, I double, basically, I think, from last year. I need to check my numbers, but I'm not at 500, but I'm very close to it.
Let's take a minute here, guys.
Thank you.
He sent out an email last month with about 100 million worth of closings.
For the month?
In the month. How did that feel?
It was a good month. It was a really good month. I got a call from someone, and I don't remember who it was. It was like, hey, you have a good year last month. I'm like, yeah. No, it was an amazing month. I think it was the best month of my career. Probably, yes.
What I see with people is, they'll set a goal at the beginning of the year, and by January 31st, they're already disconnected from the goal. They've already let go of the goal, and now they're just going through the motions. How do you stay connected? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? How do you keep that thing alive?
Okay, so a lot of you that don't know me, who never heard me, are going to think I'm a little crazy, but these are the things that I do. And here's the thing, everybody sets goals, and everybody has great ideas, and a lot of people come and says, what's the secret? Tell me the things that you do and what gets you the business and this and this. And no problem, I'll tell you everything. Grab a pen, write down everything. I'm going to tell you the secret. The biggest problem is execution. And this is in any business, in every business, and people that I talk, successful people, clients, they own different business, technology business and everything, Everybody has a great idea of an app. Raise your hand, who didn't ever thought about, that would be a cool app? There you go. Everybody thinks that once, right? But now do it. The execution is where people drop the ball, and that's the tricky part, So for me, I need to find something that constantly engages me to be thinking about it, to be emotionally involved, So, I wake up early in the morning, 5:30, I meditate, I go to the gym, or I go on a run on the beach, and while I'm running, I repeat things, I repeat a goal, or I repeat the way I want to feel over and over again. And I repeat it out loud because I need to hear it, because there is a scientific reason why you want to hear you saying what you want. Your goal, whether it's a number, or the way you feel, or every day in every way I'm feeling healthier, happier, and wealthier. Okay, I repeat that about 200 times in the treadmill, and people go away from me. They're like, let's go there. But I'm repeating it, I don't care, because that really gets me into it. So that's how I keep, because every day I'm doing that keeps reminding me that that's my goal, that's what I need to be. And I have an interesting story, actually, on a property that I just sold, which I cannot share who the buyer is. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably know already, but I cannot talk about it. But it was a super, super interesting process. I remember thinking about this individual as being the perfect buyer for this specific listing.
So you have a big listing, and you sit down and you think about who's going to buy this.
So it was a 20 plus,
and you put a name to.
Yeah, there was someone that I thought that it would be the perfect buyer for it.
Okay.
for something to happen, I knew that probably would be a very good chance that if they were to come and see the house, they would buy it, okay? But I don't know them. I mean, I know of them. I don't know them. I don't know how to reach out to them and everything. And I just start obsessing with it. You know, I'm thinking so much that one day I wake up and I'm like, I had a dream with this person last night. That's kind of weird. So I started to use that name of that individual. I'm going to sell the house to this person. And I started repeating and repeating and repeating that.
And I remember sitting in your
And
office.
I tell you the whole process, and that's why I'm telling the story, because it's amazing that I actually was able, because if I just say it, people are going to be like, yeah, right? But Steve has gone through the whole process from me telling him I'm doing this and I'm obsessing with this and how everything happened. And it happened in a period of time for probably 3 or 4 months. It wasn't like a week thing, you know. So one day I'm driving and I get a call from Griffin in my office. And he's like, hey, I left the property. And he's like, I'm closing the house. And this person walks in and says they want to see the house. And I'm like, what? But they need to make an appointment. He's like, no. It's so-and-so. I'm like, I'm on my way. So I turn around. I run to the house, meet, give it the whole tour. And now it's happened, right? Now they've been on the property.
So the person you thought about actually
yes,
shows up.
Shows up, walks in the house without an agent.
Okay.
So, yeah, from that moment now we get into we like the house, let's look at it again, and let's look at it again, but they're not really, putting the offer. And I have 2, 3 other people that are interested and they're doing the same. So, we find a way to get them motivated, and they write an offer, and we go into escrow, and as you know, escrows are, complicated, So through the whole process of escrow and right about before removing contingencies.
You're on both sides, so it's even...
It's a super complicated deal because I'm dealing with managers and lawyers, and I'm the agent in both sides. So it's like, it's tricky to deal those. So you got to be careful. So I go to the beach one day at 6 in the morning, and I'm running, I'm doing my thing. And I'm like, they're going to remove contingencies tomorrow because the day was tomorrow. And it was very hairy. So I'm like, start screaming that on the beach. And I'm alone. I mean, maybe there's a couple homeless guys sleeping there. They're like, shut up,
A few seagulls. What's going on here?
And I see this huge pelican that is sitting in the thing. And I see like it's on the side of the bike path. And I'm running, and I'm like, I'm not really feeling it. And I start getting pissed on myself. It's like, you're not doing it right. I need to really feel it. So
You need to really feel what?
Feel like the emotion, like I'm going to make it happen, no matter what.
Okay.
It's like it's something within you that when you want to do something, there is a shift, right? I mean, you doing it. There is like, oh, I'm going to do that, and there is like, I'm fucking doing that. So I'm running, and I see this pelican, beautiful, huge pelican in there. And as I'm running, I'm thinking he's going to leave, but he's not moving there, So I scream like as loud as I could to this poor bird. I'm gonna remove contingencies tomorrow. Poor bird like flies for his life, and I continue to run. And by the time I'm back, I jump in the ocean normally, and it's 6 in the morning. The water is fucking cold, right? So I jump in the water, and it feels amazing. It's like this release of endorphins and everything. And I come out of the water feeling like $1,000,000, and I close my eyes, and I'm like, I know this is gonna happen. And the pelican comes flying really close to me, this close to the water, and it's just such a magical moment. I mean, to me, that was someone telling me, it's going to happen, you're cool, And I just felt that peace, and I go back to my office, and boom, they remove contingencies, which you were part of it that day. So, the same thing happened with the closing. We had a hiccup with a specific thing, and Mauricio knows too about this. And it was tough. It was a very tough situation. So I'm like, you know what? Where's to lose? I did it once, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to find that fucking bird. So I go Friday morning, again, the whole thing, I'm running, and I see the bird again. I don't know if it's the same or not. I do the exact same thing, go in the water, come out, flies again, and now I want to cry. It's like, oh, this is so beautiful. I mean, you can manifest whatever you want. Go back to the office. You were there that day too. Coincidentally, you were all those days in there. That's fucking weird. He was the bird. That's a good one. And I go back to the office. We close escrow. So the point I want to make with this is like I truly believe that you can create your own reality. I think we as children of God or universe, or there is something more powerful than us out there that I believe in. We have the ability to be creators too. You create your life, you create your universe, you create your path, and you can manifest that, you know. And in order to do that, you need to be happy with yourself. You know, the reason why I wake up in the morning, I do all these things is because I want to be happy. It's not like you just wake up happy, you know. It's like you want to be. At a point in time, you get used to it, and you are like that. Some people are like, why are you so happy all the time? It's like, you know, I train myself to be happy all the time, you know. So everybody can do it, you know. You can create, you can achieve what you want. And the beauty of these worlds, I know we all have the same goals, you know. We don't all want to sell the same amount. We don't all want the same car. So that's the beauty. There is contrast in there, because if everything was the same, you know, there's the law of the contrast, you know, in the book, The Science of Getting Rich, that talks about that. It's got to be contrast, because imagine if we all like the same and we all dress the same, and it will be the boring, you know, it will be super boring. So
That,
thank you.
that deal did not happen by accident.
No.
And you really had to thread a needle to make that happen. And there was a lot of, I'm sure, emotional up and downs going through that entire process.
Yes.
And you had to keep your focus, though, on what you wanted.
That's right.
You have these moments in life where you literally leave your body. You're like, this
And
is
it happens
not
all the time.
Yeah.
It's not like a one-time event. I mean, for me, it happens all the time. A different,
Version.
Different version and different intensities, but it happens all the time. I mean, you know, the brain has evolved so much. I mean, from hundreds of years ago, it's almost double the size of its mass, right? And the part that is developed the more is in the front over here, and that portion is the one that give us as humans the ability that no other being has to feel and visualize and see things before they happen, okay? So if we have that, why wouldn't we use it, you know? It's as simple as that.
Think and Grow Rich is a book that you spend a lot of time with, your Bible. Talk about that book.
I mean, you know, the title is Think and Grow Rich, and you know, most people think like, okay, it's all about money, but it's really not. You know, the book is an unbelievable book that I probably read it like 25 times now, and every time I read it, I find something new. And the reason why I find something new is the book doesn't change. It's still my same book. I need to buy another one probably. It's all teared apart. But you change. You're not the same. So this year you're prepared for one part of that book and one message, and the next year there'll be something else in there that's going to pop and it's going to get your attention that you didn't really get the first time. And that's why I think that book is unbelievable. And I mean, one of the greatest things about this book is you got to understand that Napoleon Hill spent 25 years of his life, you know, living and studying the most successful people back in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Would happen to be a lot of characters like Henry Ford, Rockefellers, Carnegie. I mean, we're talking about Edison, you know, huge minds, you know. So he studied them, what they eat, what time they wake up, what do they do, what they have in common, what not. And he's condensed all this information of 25 years in one freaking book. Why would not read that book, you know? It's a genius book.
And like you said, every time you read it, you see something new, something hits you in a different way, or you gain a deeper understanding of what's in that book.
Yes. You know, you start your day and you have your goals and you go all fired up, and you need to get to a point where at the end of the day, you're driving home, you need to release it. You need to be like, I did 100% of what I needed to do. There is no more that I could have done. And then just feel good about it and release that good feeling and go have dinner, go to bed, or whatever it is that you do at night. But the reality is that we all know when we're driving home that we didn't do 100%. And you're telling yourself, oh, I did good today, I did 100%. But you really know the truth in the back of your head that, you know what, I couldn't make that extra phone call. I couldn't go to that extra house. I should have done this. And if you go thinking that way, what happens is that gets, you know, print in your subconscious mind. And that's a problem. Because then when you go to bed, your subconscious mind goes to work. And that's the message you're sending out there. And when you're sending a message that is not enough, that you didn't finish, that you didn't do 100%, that you didn't do good, that goes out there and that comes back to you. And then you wake up the next day and you feel like shit. So you need to finish your day and say, you know what, I did everything I could have done today. There's nothing else I can do. Now I'm going to turn off my phone, I'm going to go with my family, I'm going to have a great dinner, I'm going to go to bed. If you feel that way, then your subconscious mind says, achievement. Done, we did good. You send that out there. When you wake up the next day, magically, you're going to be in a better mood. You're going to feel better. Things are going to come up. You're going to get that phone call. You're going to get that email. So you need to play with your feelings. It's all about the way how you feel. You need to emotionalize all your goals and everything that happens to you, because that's really what makes it work. Make sense?
What I love about both of you enjoy life. You actually enjoy
Life was meant to be enjoyed. I mean,
well, I see a lot of people struggling
but it's a
through
choice.
life.
You know, there is a choice. I was reading something recently, actually. It talks about the happiness as a choice. There is a book about it also. When you wake up in the morning, you know, the reason why I always say, and everybody says, and we know that you need to be grateful about some things. Okay, start by saying three things. Okay, wake up in the morning. I'm sure that all of you can be grateful for three things. It can be, thank you because I'm awake, thank you because I can see, thank you because I can get up out of bed and I feel healthy, because I have a healthy wife, husband, children, I have food in my refrigerator. I mean, how many are there right there? 10? You know, so I mean, you gotta find three and really feel grateful about it, because when you feel in that way, if you feel grateful, you cannot be in fear. Fear is the worst thing. You know, humans are addicted to fear. And the reason why we're addicted to fear is because we were conditioned for survival. You know, we need to survive. I mean, everything that happens or anything, we're trying to figure out how we're going to survive out of this one, so we are in fear. We're like in defense mode. If you switch that to being grateful, then you cannot be grateful and fearful at the same time. That's not work. Try it. Test it. You can't. And if you're trying and you say, yeah, but I'm still fearful, then you're not doing it right. Okay? So if you wake up that way and you're grateful, and you meditate, and you have your goals, and you mix that with exercise. There has to be an exercise in there, because there is a movement in your body's energy. You have cells that are full of energy, and if you move and you have action, that gets things going, you know? So if you get going and you meditate and you're grateful, you release dopamine, okay? Dopamine is a substance in your brain that you release when you're happy, and when you release that, it makes you smarter. Believe it or not, there's a study that makes you smarter. It gives you more energy. It puts you in a better mood. People are attracted to be doing business with you. So when you feel in that way and you go and open a door and you're the next person that person is meeting for giving the listing, they're going to pick up on that. And they're going to want to do business with you. They're not going to know why, but I really like this guy. It's because of that. So you can create that. We all have it. So you need to start working on that and getting out there, because these are scientific proofs that these things work, you know?
Well said. And just to be clear with everyone, dope is not short for dopamine.
No.
That won't do the same thing for you, I promise.
What was the biggest lesson learned this year for you?
The biggest lesson learned this year for me, oh man, there's a lot of them. You know, one of the beautiful things is that, you know, there's no losing. You know, I think that whether you achieve or you win something or you don't, you always win, because you always learn about something. So I almost find it now interesting failing, because okay, now I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to become better, you know. This year was an amazing year. I didn't have one big thing. I have a lot of little ones. For a moment, what I was telling you, for example, about that deal, I kind of lost my faith a little bit. I got a little nervous. I was getting a lot of pressure from a lot of people, and I felt that it might not happen. And I doubted myself. And when I went through the bird thing a couple of times, I felt like, you know this shit. I mean, this works. I mean, you know this. Why were you doubting? You know, it's like, don't doubt. So but it's training, you know, because we're conditioned to doubt. We're conditioned to go in this direction, you know. Humans, like, every time we all know when to make the right decision and when to make the wrong decision. And the reason why most of the times we make the wrong decision and the wrong choices is because making the right decision is so fucking hard, right? But it's just the way it goes. So for me, I mean, I think the lesson is just having more faith on myself, having more faith on everything that I believe in. I doubted for a second. It wasn't a long time. It was just a second that I doubted and I got scared. And how did I fought that? It was by generating action, going run on the beach, run hard, okay, getting that, you know, stress out, and then screaming to a bird. I mean, all these things are, you know, a way to show out there that, you know what, I'm doubting, but I don't want to doubt anymore. I'm going to go and fix it, and I'm going to fix it doing this way. And it can be any way. You know, you need to find what works for you. Everybody doesn't enjoy running on the beach screaming at birds. So you need to find what gets you going, what gets you to, you know, you need to shift that feeling. So what I learned is I'm going to do it quicker next time.
What I saw this year with you is your ability to manifest. And what I want for you is to really lean into that. You did it several times this year where you had a conscious thought and you brought it into being.
Yeah, I need to do it more. This has come down to me like a science. It works perfectly. Why I'm not doing more of it? That you're right. You know, it's like, what is it that I'm not? It's like if you go to Vegas and someone gives you the secret number to win and you won already, and they give it to you and you know you have the number. Why wouldn't go again, right? It's kind of like a funny analogy, but it works. I know it works. I proved it many times. You're being a witness of it, so it's just doing it more, you know.
Santiago, anything that you're going to focus on specifically
Yeah, for
in 2018?
Sure. Before I do that, though, I want to just to point out my parents are here visiting from Bolivia. So they're right
Did
there.
a good job.
So every time you talk about martial arts, you know, my dad was a big martial artist. He opened all the martial arts schools in Bolivia.
Oh, wow.
So he's pretty badass. So every time you talk about it, it's great, you know. You know, this year for me is going to be a big year. I mean, obviously, the goal is gonna continue to be the 500
million. There you go.
The 500 million. This year is going to happen. Is there? You know, the other goals that we have, you know, company-wide as an owner of a company, we're going to bring the agency to 3 different markets, 3 different cities. So that's a goal. We're working on that. And for me, the most important ones also are the personal, like you said, because it all comes from within, you know. What's the most important thing? You know, that you're healthy, that you have your wife and your children healthy, that you take care of them. I mean, that's to me the propeller and the energy that gets you to go out there. For me, if there is something, I had an argument with my wife for some reason, which, you know, very rarely happens, and I go out there, I'm not 100%. For me to be 100%, I need to wake up, I need to do certain things, my meditation, I need to see my kids, I need to have breakfast with them, ideally take them to school, connect with my wife for a little bit, you know, the exercise, the whole thing, and then I jump in the shower, I'm ready to go and kill it, okay? But if something is just not go well, it affects my day, and I go out there, and I'm not 100%. If Santiago is not 100%, he cannot show up into a $20 million listing appointment. It doesn't work well, you know? So it's continue. And we know when you say what are your new goals, it doesn't have to be new. And, you know, things are working out, things are good. You need to set up and tweak a little bit, like you said, but it's like continue to do it, okay? Because a lot of people do it one year, they do great, and the next year they stop doing it. And it's so common. It's like, why did you stop doing it? Why did you stop taking care of yourself? Why did you stop this? Why did you stop that? Everything was working fine. So it's a big, actually, challenge to be able to continue to do it. Because in this business, people think, okay, I had a great year, I sold 200 million, I'm amazing. All right, now do it again next year, and I'll do it again next year, and do it again next year. Having the ability to have many consistent good years where you're selling millions of millions is a big challenge, okay? There are not many agents in this city that can continuously have the hundreds of millions of sales year after year after year. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint race. And I see life the same way, you know, with your family, with your life, with your health. You know, it's a constant work. You cannot expect immediate results. It doesn't work like that. And everything that has immediate result usually turns around really quick in the opposite direction.
When you sit and listen to Santiago, what comes up for you?
Well, it's just energizing because it's, you know, everything I believe, everything I do, but clearly I've got the little boy pants on. I got to get the big boy pants on because clearly it all works, you know, and I'm totally in sync. But I think the message it sends me is that you have to pick the number you want to pick, because the reality is it always seems to come to fruition. So why not pick the bigger number, you know, unless there's a reason that's not giving you the life you want to lead, you know.
And that's a strategy too. Like if I can talk to you directly, is if you want to get a big number, you know, there's so many $1 million, $2 million houses you can sell to get there. I mean, it will be like you have to build a big team, right? So then you need to start thinking about, okay, maybe I should up my numbers, right? And I think that's something that you can do. It's like, okay,
Absolutely.
maybe we should focus in like higher range of price range, and start going after those, and that's going to get you to that next, because it's really in numbers, I mean, to get to those
Absolutely.
numbers, you need to sell the big chunky deals, right?
Right.
I mean, continue to do what you're doing, but it's jumping to that next level and starting to become comfortable with that level, and then you go to the next one, and then it just, by inertia, it just happens,
Absolutely. Thank you.
When you listen to Jeffrey, what comes up for you?
He's amazing. I love this guy. I mean, you have such an amazing energy. He's same thing, I mean, he's always a smile on his face. You just can feel this energy, I mean, I don't know if you guys pick up on that, but you can feel good energy on people, just, it's something that you feel and you just want to hang out. I want to hang out with this guy. I want to go grab drinks with this guy. I want to go run, scream of birds with this guy. He's great. He's a good father. He's a good husband. He's a good guy, I mean, he's an incredible individual, and he's killing it, and I'm just happy to be sitting in the same chair with him.
Thank you much. Appreciate it. Start with your toes. Feel the energy coming up through your body and over again. You want to add to that before we?
Yes. Okay. If you really want to do this, let's take it to another level. Okay. Get up. All right. Okay. So now we're all going to jump 10 times with the hands up. Okay. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Deep breath. Now you can take over. All right. A lot of books and everything that explain why successful people wake up early in the morning. Okay. When you wake up early in the morning, you already feel you're ahead of the game. Okay. You are awake. You have that extra time first for yourself. The meditation. If you don't have 10 minutes for yourself, then get a life. You have to have 10 minutes for yourself. So you need to give yourself that time where nobody's talking to you, the phone's not going to ring at that time, it's just you, and that's the time where you really get to know yourself, you get to know your higher self and what you really want, and so you need to have that time. That time makes you powerful, and on top of that, you are ahead of the game. And that feeling of getting out of the gym, for me, at 6:30 in the morning or 6:45, driving, I know that most people are not awake, and a lot of people just waking up. I'm already making phone calls. I already make 2 phone calls. I get home. I'm ahead of the game, and that feeling of being ahead is a good feeling to have. And if you can keep good feelings constantly, it gets you in a vibration that you can always be going up and up and up and up. So, but listen to your body. I mean, a lot of people need more sleep, okay? I'm not saying that everybody should do the same thing, because, like he says, that you're going to deprive yourself and it's not going to be good for you. So you all know your bodies. You all know how much sleep you need. If you need 8 hours of sleep, you have to sleep 8 hours, because if you don't sleep those 8 hours, that's not you, Now, do you really need them? That you need to be honest to yourself, okay? Nobody's gonna tell you, point a finger or anything. If you're not honest with yourself and you cheat with yourself, don't expect progress. Don't expect for things to change. You have to be 100% honest with yourself. You need to be your biggest judge. I always tell my agents and people, I'm like, if you're your business, okay? Real estate agents, they all run their own business, right? So would you hire yourself as your CEO? Yes or no? The truth. My dad actually just came back. He bought a book in the airport, Daddy Free, and he recommended it to me, and I just downloaded it. And I do audiobooks, and you guys know that I do audiobooks because I can read. It puts me to sleep. I'm ADD, I'm OCD, and all the other 3-letter sicknesses that are out there. John Maxwell is just has an amazing book that is the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Okay. My dad just recommended it to me. I just bought it. I'm doing it when I'm in the gym, when I'm exercising. I'm killing. I don't like dead time. I don't like waste of time. If I'm working out and I need to hear music to get pumped up, I'll hear music. But if I'm already in a place where I can learn something else, I'm listening to a book at a 1.75 speed. Okay, where it goes really fast, you cover faster, and then you're learning, you're working out, you're doing 2 things at the same time. So that's my next book. The reason why I haven't built a team yet, because I know that if I'm going to do something, I like to do it 100%. So if I'm going to build a team, I'm going to build the biggest, most badass team that's ever been built, okay? And I probably will get to 1 billion in sales, right? But But then I have to deal with a lot of stuff, and it might jeopardize, I need to train people, I need to spend time doing that. So I chose not to. So I don't have a team. And the way how we actually work at the agency, we all are a team. We all helping each other. We all like grabbing one or another person to help us on an individual basis, or usually on a deal-by-deal basis. So that combination of being in that company and the way how we work it's just kept me not building things. So it's just me. And it's worked well, and I'm cool with it because of that reason, because you have to, yeah.
Is there anything you're looking for with the people that work with you?
For sure. I'm expecting that they work as hard as me. I expect that obviously it has to be a personality, correlation in there, because if not, this is a people's business. If you don't have anything in common, then it's not going to go well probably. So you need to find someone that you relate to it, that personality-wise you're going to be able to communicate easily. And then you want to make sure that it's someone that is motivated. And there's different ways how to motivate people. Obviously, money is one of them, salaries. But you want to make it part of your culture. You want to make it involved. You want them to care about your business. It's not just an employee. You want that person to be involved and care about what you're doing because they're part of it. So they're proud of being part of that.
All right, year one, Santiago, looking back, what were some of the key things that you did that have moved you forward?
Year one was not a good year for me. I sold one condo for $495,000. I did double-ended it, but that was my wholesale, and I was not doing the things right. Okay, year two was the year where I realized that I needed to change my attitude to start with, because I was complaining about why things weren't working, and I was focusing too much on why things weren't working. So when I, changed that to an attitude like, doing things, even door knocking. There's two different ways when you go and door knock, which I did a lot of door knocking to answer your question, okay? When you are knocking on a door and they open the door and you have this crappy attitude, they're gonna slam the door in your face, okay? But if you are in a different place, okay, energetically, and you are great, they're gonna want to talk to you about whatever. And you don't need to talk about the house. One of the things about door knocking is like, don't go in the door and be like, hey, my name is blah, 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 I wanna sell your house. Not gonna go well. Okay, so talk about something else. Talk about like, hey, whatever, it's a beautiful street, and my friend told me to stop by because he likes the house. Find something, bring value to that person, why they would want to talk to you, right? And if you're friendly and you're happy and you have this energy, they're going to want to engage and talk for a little bit, and then you grab that information. You don't expect to make the sale in the first door you're going to knock. Maybe that's someone that you're going to grab a name. Okay, and then 3 years later, if you keep prospecting and you keep them in your database and you keep touching base, that person will call you. So mindset, for sure.
Big thing.
Mindset's a big thing, and patience and stick to it. Okay, it takes time. I always say there is a lot of people in California. There's more people in California that have real estate license than driver's license. Okay, and the reason is because they all go like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot because it's easy to get a license. I'm going to give it a shot and see how it goes. It doesn't work out, I'm going to do that. Don't even waste your time. If you want to do these businesses, I'm going to do this until I become a top producer, and that's what I'm going to do no matter what. That's the kind of mindset. There's no a plan B, okay? Because it distracts you from plan A. You need to have your plan A, and that's about it. That's what's going to happen. You need to have the attitude of the conquistadors, right? They went to a different city, and they burned their bridges because we're going to die or we're going to conquer. End of the story.
Any parting words for the group?
Well, I think I just kind of said it before this, but it's just kind of, just be grateful. There's no better advice I can give you to wake up in the morning and feel grateful, because that's what's going to open up to the next one, which is going to be, okay, I'm happy now, what I'm going to do? And then you start setting your goals, You have to be happy with yourself, and you need to know who you are and what you want, because it comes from inside, okay? If you think that when you're selling the $100 million, when you have that car, when you have the house, then you're gonna be happy, you're wrong. You're gonna have all that, and you're gonna be miserable. You need to be happy now where you are in order to be happy down the road to whatever else you're gonna have.
Perfect. I absolutely love that, and there's another favorite saying that goes along with that. Want what you have. It's not about having what you want. And if you're constantly wanting what you already have, then you'll end up with everything you want anyway.
Yep.
I love these guys. Give them a big round of applause.
Good job, man.